Organizing your gradebook can be done in a few ways. One way is by categories. If you have similar assignments, for example, discussions, assessments, homework, participation, you can group these together and then weigh these according to how significant they are towards the course total. Let me show you how to do this. So first you will enter your course, go down to the administration block and find grades. Once in here, from the Grader Report pull-down, go down to Categories and Items. Now this part of the gradebook has already been organized by weights. If you want to learn how to do that, please see the point system tutorial in the top right-hand corner here. Our goal for here, though, is not to add weights to individual assignments, but to categorize these within different categories, and then if we want to, we can also weight those categories relative to each other. The way we do this is first by creating our categories. So I'm going to add a category called Discussion, and I have the aggregation type option. We've gone over these before as far as mean of grades versus weighted mean of grades. I would actually like for each of my categories to just be an average of the grades within that. I'm not going to weight any of the assignments within each category over any of the other assignments within the category. I can do that if I want to, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to keep it simple and just mean of grades. I go down to Save Changes, and now I have this category has been created. I actually would like to create a few other categories. I'm going to create all of my categories before I place any of these assignments within them. So I've created one for all of these discussions here. I have a bunch of assessments here, so I'll create another category called Assessments. And I'm going to also make that a mean of grades. So that takes care of all of these assignments here, all of these here, but I still have these up here. I think these are best captured by the term assignment or classwork. So I'm going to make a third category called assignments slash classwork. I'm going to make that also mean of grades, keep that consistent. Now if we look at the bottom of this page here, we have 3 different categories that have been created. Now our job is to drag these assignments over here into their respective categories. Let's do it first for the assessments at the bottom here. So I'm going to find the tick box to the right of each of these. I'm going to select each of these. The bottom of the page, I'm going to move selected items to the assessments. I don't need to click anything. It automatically takes me to this next window and refreshes. And now inside the assessments category are these 3 assessments. That's great. It's nicely chunked together visually as well as later on for our weights. I like to do the same thing for our discussions. So I'm going to tick the boxes next to all of the assignments that fall under that category for discussion, and I'm going to move selected items to discussion. It automatically refreshes to look like this, and here's the full window. We still have these up here. I'm going to tick these, and the category that we're going to place all those into is assignments slash classwork. So now our gradebook is really starting to look visually organized. We also want to make sure that the course total reflects what we want as far as how each of these categories are relative to the significance of the work done inside of these activities, how important they are towards the course total. So I actually find that assessments and assessments here are going to be a huge part of my final grade. I'd actually like for them to be 60% of my total grade. So I'm going to put a weight of 60 here. It's not a percent so much as a relative number to the other ones, but it still works in the sense of putting the raw number 60 in here. Let's see, I want my discussions to be worth definitely less than my assessments. I'd like for them to be worth about 20. and I'd like for my assignments to be worth as much as my discussions, so 20 as well. It's convenient that these do all add up to 100. They don't have to, as long as this number is relative to this number, and that you want this to be worth 3 times as much as this 60 versus this 20. But a lot of people frame this in terms of percentages, which works numerically as well. If you want these all to add up to 100, that works fine as a framework as well. When I'm all done with putting the weights to these, I'm going to go down to the bottom and save changes. And there it's all completed. Notice that the weights of these individual assignments that were once over here are no longer there. That's because we changed the way that these are graded within, these are calculated within the category to mean of grades. If I want these inside to have different significances, so if I want this discussion to be worth twice as many total points as this one, I can still do that. I have to go over to Edit for the discussion category, Edit Settings, and change the aggregation type down to weighted mean of grades. Once I've done that, you can now weight these relative to each other inside of this category. So I wanted this to be worth twice as many points as this. I will make this worth 2 weights, and I'll keep this one at 1 weight. Let's say I want this one to be worth half as much as this weight. I could also do 0.5 as a weight, and these are all relative to each other. None of these weights will compare to anything in this category, though. These 2 categories are only compared by these 2 items here. If you'd like to learn more advanced features with the Gradebook, please see the menu on the right over here.